fan because I called his coming out fight against Bradis Prescott.
He's
and
special.
then various other stepping stones throughout his career.
I also think he's one of those guys that if you tell him he can't do something, he wants to show you and shock the world.
1,000%. Absolutely right.
I also think Canelo is slowing down.
I was just going, I didn't give Canelo more than like 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 if I'm just being generous.
You know, becoming the first undisputed world champion in the 4-belt era in 3 different weight classes. Really, and the way he did it, and you know, the class that he showed.
Joe Rogan reacts to Terence Crawford defeating Canelo Alvarez and highlights how Crawford thrives under doubt. He explains that when people claim Crawford cannot rise to the challenge, it fuels his determination to prove them wrong. Rogan points out Crawford's slick style and precise striking that allowed him to showcase his power on the biggest stage. He believes this victory cements Crawford as one of the most skilled fighters in boxing today. Bonta Hill tweeted that, "I'm now convinced Crawford would beat any version of Floyd Mayweather." This bold statement reflects how highly Crawford's recent performance is being regarded in the boxing world. Beating Canelo Alvarez has pushed his legacy to a new level, making many believe he could surpass even the undefeated Floyd Mayweather. Crawford's dominance across weight classes and his ability to adapt in the ring show why this claim is gaining traction.
Get ready to subscribe totally to that because, again, you're talking about somebody who is stubborn.
And for sure.
Who wants to prove everything he can prove.
100%. I agree with that too. But I think there's in boxing and certainly in MMA, there's a certain amount of years where a fighter can keep the RPMs up. And, you know, when they're in the red line, and there's some people subscribe to the idea of 9 years. There's 9 years is the most that a elite fighter in MMA has performed at their prime. I think that's a bullshit number because I think it's entirely dependent upon lifestyle, nutrition, discipline, physical attributes. There's a lot of factors.
George Foreman won the heavyweight championship of the world in boxing at age 45.
True, but he took 10 years off.
Yes.
Gareth, speaking as a commentator, highlighted how Terence Crawford delivered one of the most tremendous performances boxing has ever witnessed. He pointed out that Crawford not only moved up 3 weight classes to face Canelo, but also came into the fight older than him, and after more than a year away from the ring. Despite those challenges, Crawford showcased mastery, skill, and composure that few fighters in history have ever displayed. Gareth stressed that fans should recognize this as a once-in-a-lifetime display of greatness, proving Crawford's ability to overcome every obstacle and rise above all expectations. Shakur Stevenson says on X that, "Respect to Canelo. It's a lot of soft fighters in the sport who's scared to fight against other great fighters. But salute to you, champ. Not being scared to put it on the line against everybody. You are a legend." His message shows deep appreciation for Canelo's courage to face challenges that many avoid. Stevenson's words remind fans that greatness isn't only about winning, but about taking risks against the best.
Throughout the course of the week, we said that this is a game of IQ. There's going to be movement within the fight. You're going to have to answer different types of questions and bring different types of game plan. Crawford did that. He was able to do it backwards. He was able to do it forwards. He could trade in the pocket, catch the stuff, and then counter. He was absolutely magnificent. Listen, I know this is raw and we've only just walked out the stadium, right?
10 minutes ago.
And when the dust settles on this, we'll probably have better answers and better thought processes. And I'm sure people watching this will get stuck into the comments and maybe say what I'm about to say is quite outlandish. That might be the single best performance that I have ever witnessed live. It was absolutely tremendous. You've got to take into consideration the weight jump. This is a man that was champion at 135, 140, 147, and obviously recently at 154. But let's be honest, he even jumped up to 154 pounds for that. To go then up to 168 and take on the former pound-for-pound #1 king on a Mexican holiday weekend in Las Vegas and managed to beat him on the cards when the judges tried to do him, mate, it is out of this world what Terence Crawford just did. And he needs all the flowers in the world, he needs all the praise in the world, and I don't think you're wrong, mate, by saying he's the pound-for-pound #1. It's an ever-moving list. That performance alone deserves to put him right at the top of the
Yeah, he's become. There's an argument that he becomes an all-time great with that performance, like you say, because the majesty, the poise, the presence all week, the pinpoint accuracy of everything he did in there, to the fact that in the end Canelo was frustrated and knew he couldn't do anything to Crawford, and he started
visibly frustrated, wasn't it?
No, visibly frustrated that he started to do a weird kind of showboating because he didn't have any answers for what was happening and unfolding in front of him. I think Terence Crawford has rubber-stamped himself as an all-time great tonight, and I want to revise a view on him. I wondered whether he would have been capable of beating Floyd Mayweather at welterweight.
Oh, you're going for it now,
and I think, yeah, we got to. I think he may well have done.
Paulie Malignaggi emphasized that Crawford had achieved something historic. Becoming an undisputed champion across 4 divisions is rare, and the way Crawford executed it against Canelo stood out. Malignaggi compared Crawford's dominance to Floyd Mayweather's reign in his own era, calling this the beginning of Crawford's era. His perspective showed how the victory was more than just a win. It symbolized a shift in power, marking Crawford as the defining figure of this generation.
Flawless, flawless. I mean, Terence Crawford has had an amazing career against a lot of very good fighters and world-class fighters, and honestly has barely lost a round. When you look back at Bud Crawford's career, there is something really special. It's one of those things now, because now I've now seen back-to-back generations of Floyd Mayweather and Bud Crawford, and man, you know, it's one of those things where now I understand why the people that lived in the Ray Leonard era say, you know, oh, wish we could see Ray Leonard against Mayweather, and how that would be. Because it just leaves such an empty feeling when you have such special fighters that were in different generations, and you saw both of them. You know, I saw the entirety of the Mayweather generation. I saw the entirety of the Bud Crawford generation. Just incredible. Really, really incredible. And I know Mayweather gets a lot of hate, but for me, he's a tremendous, tremendous fighter. And Terence Bud Crawford is in that realm as well. And it's a fight we'll never get to see. So what are we going to do, you know? It'll be up to the fantasy fights, you know. But let's get into it, man. I want to get into the undercard as well and some of my thoughts on the Netflix show. But let's get into the main event first. Crawford really boxed very, very well, very, very intelligently. The question mark was what happens when Crawford gets hit cleanly. I'm not sure he got hit cleanly at the whole fight. You know, he got hit with some partial shots. Some shots landed cleanly, but by the time Canelo started landing anything cleanly, I think he was hesitant because he was getting countered so much that he was taking some of the steam off the shots in order to hope to be more accurate. Because even late in the fight, there were a couple of shots that Canelo landed, but they barely moved.
Devin Haney's sharp reaction summed up just how dominant Crawford was. He dismissed the idea that Canelo had any real foothold in the fight, saying he couldn't give him more than 3 or 4 rounds at best. Haney's remark was both an assessment and a challenge. It reinforced how decisive Crawford's win appeared and implied that even the top young champion saw Canelo as no longer the untouchable force he once was.
How'd you score it, Devin? I wasn't scoring. I didn't give Canelo more than like 3 rounds. Yeah. Maybe 4 if I'm just being generous.
Can't get away from this
Maybe
fucking crowd.
Are you shocked or not?
Hey, right here to my left.
Are you shocked or not? No, I'm not shocked. I knew that if you kind of fight.
A fan tweeted, "True competitors are all champions. There is no loss in the pursuit of sincere glory. Thank you and congratulations to Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. The warrior spirit won tonight." This message highlights the respect for both fighters, showing that true greatness is measured not only in victory but in courage and dedication. Bill Haney believed Crawford's dismantling of Canelo was even easier than his victory over Errol Spence. He said he had predicted this outcome, stressing Crawford's greatness. This viewpoint underlined how effortless Crawford made the fight appear, despite Canelo's pedigree. By comparing it to the Spence fight, Bill highlighted Crawford's increasing ability to neutralize elite opponents, making each win look smoother and more decisive than the last.
Exactly. And you guys knew what was going to happen. You were in denial. That shit looked easier than Earl Spence. Did it look, huh?
It's a brilliant performance. Brilliant
performance, man. Shout out to Team Crawford, Bo Mack and that whole team, man. You know what I mean?
Where'd you rank him all-time list after that?
I mean, put his face on Mount Rushmore. You know what I'm saying? He deserves his place, for sure, for sure.
Did you score it, Bill?
Yeah, I scored it a lot for Crawford and very little for Canelo. If any. I don't know.
112?
I don't know. I mean, I could pick one or two. I could pick one or two in there or something like that.
I know it's straight after the fight. But do you want to see Crawford go out on that, or do you think there'll be a rematch?
No, I don't hear a bunch of partying going on. Listen, it sounds like a funeral home in Allegiant Stadium. Did Crawford win? It sounds like it's a funeral home. Look, you see over there, you see it's quiet? It's quiet as shit. Yeah. Is it a holiday or what? Oh my God! Oh my God! Listen, that's a Crawford fan. He's Mexican. Now, listen. Hey, y'all know what's up. Crawford did it, and only person that's talking is me. November 22nd. If you don't want to hear nothing else, Crawford is great. November 22nd.
This fan tweeted, "Crawford is out of his prime too and older than Canelo. Bud beat him fair and square, no catch weight or nothing. I mean, he lost to a fighter who came up 3 weight classes. No excuses." This reaction captures the significance of Crawford's win, emphasizing that despite being older and moving up multiple weight classes, he still proves superior. It leaves no room for excuses, cementing the victory as one of boxing's greatest achievements. Analysts made it clear that this fight wasn't just about belts, it was about legacy. The narrative was simple: the winner would walk away recognized as the greatest of this era. With Crawford's victory, he firmly claimed that crown. Analysts stressed how well Crawford executed the plan, neutralizing Canelo's strengths while displaying every tool in his arsenal. The discussion shifted from debating if Crawford belongs among the greats to where exactly he ranks in all-time history.
You need rehydrate, you need this. No, you don't. If you're actually a man who is willing to, challenge himself and not a little boy who's afraid, then yeah, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. And Terence Crawford did it, and he did it damn well. Credit to Terence Crawford. Absolutely. Honestly, I'm still... Because for me, although I was picking Canelo Alvarez to win this fight, and although I've been a fan of Canelo Alvarez for many, many years, he was one of the main guys who got me into boxing. I have loved Terence Crawford, loved watching him fight for years and years and years. I remember staying up at the time, and I actually made sure to get the HBO feed to get his fight with Victor Postal. And I remember, it wasn't one of his more entertaining fights, but I remember just being just in awe of the skill and ability of Terence Crawford at the time. I remember Bob Arum, they're both run by Top Rank, when people were saying, oh, could Loma fight Terence Crawford? And Bob Arum said that would be suicide. It would have been suicide. Could you imagine? Good Lord. I can't put into words how happy I am to be proven wrong, because I love watching Terence Crawford. I think he is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And it's really fitting, right? I love Canelo Alvarez, right? But it's really fitting that at the top of boxing, we have two of the most honest champions, honest men you could ever see, you could ever imagine. And that being Alexander Usyk and Terence Crawford, two friends. And I think they really sum up this era of boxing. If we are coming to the end of it as a whole, I think they really sum it up that if you're dedicated to your profession and you're willing to stay disciplined and you're willing to...
Coming back to Joe Rogan, he reacts passionately to the fight, saying that Crawford has proven himself to be a superior boxer to Canelo. He explains that Crawford is not only a great striker, but also has the mentality and adaptability of a wrestler, which makes him even more dangerous. Rogan highlights that Crawford's ability to move up in weight and dominate such a tough challenge is an incredible leap, and he compares it to historic moments in boxing. In his view, Crawford accomplished something greater than Hagler ever did, cementing his place among the sport's elite with flawless execution.
But that is Majumov was really good.
Yeah,
he's really fucking good.
But I just think Crawford is, it's weird to say against Canelo, but I think he's the better boxer, and I think he's the guy who can make the better in-fight adjustments if Canelo doesn't kill him.
It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's a big jump to go from 54, which was a step up from 47, right?
Now
so it goes to
to
54, and now he's going to 68. That's so much weight.
A lot of weight.
But Terence is, I think he's the best switch hitter since Hagler.
They claim Hagler was my favorite.
Meanwhile, a user tweeted, Jake Paul mocks lying weirdo Canelo Alvarez in brutal slam after rivals lost to Terence Crawford. This shows how Paul wasted no time taking a jab at Canelo. The mocking tone shows Paul's ongoing rivalry and his eagerness to stay relevant by targeting boxing's biggest names. Roy Jones Jr., himself one of the greatest fighters in history, declared that Crawford had entered a new level of greatness. He called him special, pointing out that nobody in this era can match him after such a performance. Praise from Roy carried extra weight because of his experience at the top of the sport. His words made clear that Crawford's win wasn't just another victory, it was a defining moment that elevated his status permanently.
Keep scoring. I scored kind of like they had it. It was a very close fight coming down to the last 2 rounds, but Bud put him out. And
He fought very smart. He let Canelo wear himself down early, and then he started fighting late. He was very smart.
Not many people gave Bud a chance, but he dominated in there tonight. Do you see anyone from this era beating Terence Crawford?
No, nobody's gonna beat him. Nobody's gonna beat him.
What makes him so special?
The fact that he fought on both sides, and he's a winner at heart. His heart is everything.
But the scorecard's right. 2 judges gave it to him by 1 round.
Yeah, it was close enough fight. It all depends on what you like. Well, if you like Canelo's aggression, you gave it Bud by like 1 or 2 rounds. But if you like boxing, Bud won by a few more rounds.
What should both guys do next?
What?
What should both guys do next?
I mean, Canelo probably got to go back and decide what he wants to do. Bud, if I were Bud, I would just be tired. Who gonna top what he did?
Jai Opetaia admitted he wasn't surprised by Crawford's victory. He explained that he already knew how much determination and potential Crawford carried into the fight. For him, Crawford's willpower combined with skill made the outcome inevitable. Opetaia's comments illustrated how fellow fighters recognized the depth of Crawford's drive, proving that his mental toughness was just as important as his physical tools.
On points, bro, crazy.
How did you have it?
I had him up, bro, convincingly.
Is he awesome number 1, Jai?
Awesome. Hey, science of the sport. This guy adapts. I knew it.
How did you know he was going to win? Why?
He's got too much ammunition. You know, southpaw, orthodox, on the back foot. That's what changes good from great is knowing how to adapt. You know, back foot, front foot, that's the difference.
Devin Haney said he wants him to retire after that. Do you agree with that?
Devin Haney is Devin Haney. You know, where is he? You know, what's he doing? So,
What do you think of it? Do
what
you
I
want
think of what?
Crawford to retire or you want him to continue?
Hey, he's doing well. So it's been good. Hey, what a performance.
Johnny Fisher's reaction captured a sentiment shared by many. Why rush to retire fighters like Crawford after such brilliance? He described the clash as a generational great fight, arguing that Crawford still has more to offer. His words resonated with fans who felt they were witnessing history and didn't want it to end prematurely. Fisher's reaction reframed the conversation rather than discussing retirement. The focus turned to how much more Crawford could still achieve.
Great, etched himself in boxing history right now, and to go up to them 2 weight divisions, unbelievable to do it. Someone like Canelo, I've never seen Canelo have that body language at the end of a fight where he's shaking his head. So credit to both men.
Would you like to see Canelo retire now?
Yeah, of course. I think Abdushiraz just knocking on the door to fight Canelo.
You don't think he should retire now, Canelo?
No. He's up to him. That's his own personal discretion. He's making millions and millions of dollars, and he'll continue to make millions of dollars. He's not been destroyed. He's not concussed. He's just Big John shouting out some of the yeah, it's all about himself. That man.
Devin Haney said he wants to see Terence Crawford retire now. Do you agree?
All the people are saying retire. Why are we trying to retire these great fighters before their time? If they're enjoying it and they're fit to do it, let them continue. Why are we trying to get rid of them? We need them.
A fan tweeted that Canelo remains one of the best despite loss record to Mayweather and Crawford, showing respect for Canelo's legacy and recognizing his greatness, even with high-profile defeats. Crawford's rise through the weight classes is one of the most remarkable journeys in modern boxing. Starting at 135 pounds, he has now conquered divisions at 140, 147, and 168. Nobody has done it quite like him. His ability to climb in weight while maintaining speed, precision, and power demonstrates unmatched versatility. This achievement alone cements his place in boxing history, proving he's not just great in one division, but across the entire spectrum.
Terence Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez by unanimous decision. Terence Crawford does the impossible by becoming the first boxer in history to be undisputed in 3 different weight classes, 140, 147, and 168 pounds. He started out as a 135-pound champion and made it all the way up to 168 pounds, beating the undisputed champion Canelo Alvarez, who's one of the greatest fighters of our generation. Tonight, Terence Crawford looked stronger, looked faster, he looked like he had higher IQ. He was just dominant the whole fight. His natural counterpunching instincts and just fight awareness, fight IQ, he did everything perfect. Like I predicted, Terence Crawford was going to give him problems and Canelo was going to get frustrated, but I didn't think it was going to be that dominant. Every time Canelo threw one punch, Terence Crawford hit him with 3, 4, 5 blistering hard shots. Terence Crawford will go down as one of the top 5 pound-for-pound best fighters in the history of boxing.
Crawford's performance against Canelo will be remembered as a masterclass. He dismantled a fighter known for his strength, timing, and durability, making it look effortless. Every round reflected superior tactics, adjustments, and precision punching. By the end, the fight wasn't about who had more power. It was about who had more skill, and Crawford proved he was operating on another level. This masterclass became the ultimate statement of his greatness.
So breaking news, 2 huge fights have been finalized for late 2025, and Errol Spence versus Jermell Charlo in negotiations for early 2026. So the first fight announced is Lamont Roach versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz in December 2025. Roach, he obviously deserved the Tank rematch, but Tank instead he's taking the Jake Paul fight. So Roach, he's going to stay active and take on Cruz. And who knows, the winner of this fight, they probably should get Tank next. Next fight, Errol Spence versus Jermell Charlo is being negotiated for early 2026. All the details are still being finalized, but both guys making their return after 2.5 years. Charlo since losing to Canelo, Spence since losing to Crawford, and this is a great rebound test for both guys. Next fight, Naoya Inoue versus Alan Picasso for December 27th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Inoue making his Saudi debut, and that'll be his 4th undisputed fight this year. Obviously, he's got to get past Muradjan Akhmadaliev this Sunday, but if he can get past Akhmadaliev, it sets up the Picasso fight in December. Also on the co-main event of the Naoya Inoue card in December will be Junto Nakatani. He'll be making his 122-pound debut against a top contender, and the plan is if both guys win their fights in December, they'll fight next May in Japan for undisputed.
So that's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.